startup where I grow microgreens by vertical farming technology. Just a second, let me just check this. Yes, okay. Alright, so join with us in Telegram, so that is for homework and class notes. You can join the channel Vani Kari ICSE class 9 and 10 biology, and the Telegram channel of Unacademy ICSE and ISC both. So this link you can find in the description box. So go to the description box, click on the link and join this channel for updates regarding the classes again. Also we conduct special classes on the platform, okay, and these are free classes that are conducted on the platform. All you have to do is download the Unacademy Learners app and start taking up these sessions. So you can hear me, right? 1 second. Yeah, so start taking up these free sessions, and once you are comfortable with these, 1 second, yeah, so once you are comfortable with these free sessions, so you can go ahead with further classes as well. So that is, the plus classes as well. So in that case, you can learn from your favorite educator for free, engage with educators via poll. Also, you can clear your doubt in the live special class, so that is using the question tab. Now for the top special classes, you can visit the link in the description. Here the plus classes is basically you need a subscription to watch this session, where you can learn live from the comfort of your home. There is unlimited access to all the courses. Then top educators of India are going to take the classes in one platform, so that is Unacademy platform. Regular doubt clearing will be done, that is after about every 3 sessions. So the 4th session is your doubt clearing session. So whatever doubts you have related to the topics that are previously covered, so you can clear your doubt in the doubt clearing session. Then complete syllabus will be covered. Mentorship and guidance can be given. Study material is given, and basically the study material is uploaded in the form of a PDF by the respective educator. Alright, so you will have access to their classes on that. Okay, and also the practices are conducted, live test series are conducted, batch courses we have. So we have a batch in English, we have a batch in English. Okay, so you will have access to both the batches once you take the subscription. So depending on your comfort, you can go for any of these batches. So if you have more time, so you can even go ahead with both the batches there. Okay, so then there is daily practice section, weekly mock test series are conducted, live quizzes, daily MCQ and subjective test series are also there. So final call to save big with Unacademy Unlock, where you can save up to 41%. Avail the Unlock offer and a free subscription of up to 6 months for ICSE class 9 and 10. So you can use this particular feature and you can get up to subscription up to 6 months for ICSE class 9 and 10. So offer extended till 31st July. And this is the time this is gonna end. So if you are planning to take the subscription, so you can go ahead with this one. Okay, so 6 months if you are taking, so it is basically 1 month, and you can see what you are paying. So this is the current price that we have. Okay, so that is for 12 months. You can see it is 19,838, but right now with 3 months extra month, okay, so you are just going to pay about 15,870, so where you are going to save about 8,101. Here 18,113, so that is up to 41% you will be saving. And if you are planning to take the subscription, so this is the best time that you can go ahead with. And this is my referral code VANIYT. So with this referral code you will be getting this particular offer, where you can save this much amount for the respective months which are given. So these are basically for plus classes conducted on the platform. Again, to attend these, all you have to do is download the Unacademy Learners app. So any doubt that you have, so you can call this number for more details regarding this particular offer. Okay, So there are plus classes that will be conducted. So this is about the double fertilization. Let me just check this. Okay, so double fertilization is what we are studying today. Okay, so recognition of the compatible pollen. So what is the meaning of that? So let's see now. There is a pollen. Let me just draw and explain. Okay, so let's say there is a stigma, style and ovary. Okay, so there is what? Stigma, style and ovary is present, and this is basically, you can see, this is the stigma. Okay, and here is the style. All right, so there is a style and you can see there is a ovary. So stigma, style, ovary that you can find. So this one is basically compatible pollen grain will be recognized by this particular stigma there. So that is based on many of the chemical interaction that occurs. So here in this case, so let's just label them. So this is what? This is stigma, and this one is what? This is style, and this one is what? This is ovary. So inside the ovary attached to the placenta. Yeah. So attached to the placenta, you can find a ovule there. So this one is the ovule. Alright, having the integuments as such. So there are integuments over here. So there is the outer integument and there is the inner integument. So this is what? This is now a ovule. So you can see this particular part. Just a second. Yeah, so this one is what? This is ovule, right? So this one is ovule. So how exactly do you think that? There is a fusion that you can see. So inside this, what do you see? So there is an embryo sac. Okay, and inside this embryo sac, so let me just label this. So this red one what I have drawn, so this is the embryo sac having the egg nucleus, the synergid cell, and on the opposite side, so this one is micropylar side. So this side is what? This is a micropylar side. So you can basically see, so here is the micropylar opening. So this opening is what? This opening is called as the micropyle. Okay. So synergids are there, egg is there, so this is the egg apparatus. On the opposite side you can find the antipodal cell and two of the polar nuclei. So this is how the carpel looks. So this is carpel, this is pistil, or we can also call this as gynoecium. Okay, so these are the different parts that you can find, and once the compatible pollen grains falls on it, so let's say here. Okay, so now you know this, let's say this is a pollen grain that is belonging to the same species, but it can be of different plant or of the same plant. So once the stigma recognize that this one is the compatible pollen, okay, so that means the one which is matching, that means it is belonging to same species. So that is when you can see there is an interaction that is going to occur between the pollen and the stigma. So let's have a look at this. That is recognition of compatible pollen. Hi YGC, good evening. So recognition of compatible pollen is now based on the compatibility. So the pistil, okay, so that is carpel, pistil, gynoecium. So that is the one which is recognizing it and accept or reject the pollen there. Okay, so acceptation or rejection of pollen is basically based on this itself. So that is based on the compatibility. If it is a compatible pollen grain, yes, it is accepted, and if it is incompatible one, so it is rejected then. Okay, so chemical components of the pistil and the pollen, so they interact. So there is an interaction that is going to occur between the chemical components of pistil, and also there is a pollen which is interacting, so that is in a chemical dialogue. So because of that, only if the pollen is compatible, so you can find it. So there is a pollen is compatible and pistil promotes further events of fertilization. So what is the meaning of that? So now you know, only if the pollen is belonging to the same species, okay, and basically it can be even cross pollination or self pollination. But if the pollen is compatible, so the pistil promotes further events of fertilization. Okay, so you can see further events of fertilization there. So that is between the pollen and then there is a pistil. So there is an interaction which can even be said as a chemical dialogue. Okay. Okay, so now this is for the events after fertilization. So like what exactly happens, and these are the chains of reactions which are given here for the pollen pistil interaction. So how exactly this occurs? So pollen grains reach the stigma. Okay, pistil is going to recognize and accept this particular pollen. Then pollen grains get attached to the stigma wall. So the wall of the stigma is attached with the stigma wall. The pollen tube grows by digesting tissues. So here this is after this. So let's have a look at this. So now you know, you can have a look at this. That is after fertilization, what is going to happen? It is all about the changes that are going to occur, which basically leads to fertilization process itself. So events after fertilization, where you can see that the pollen grain has already reached the stigma now. Okay, so let's say this is a stigma. The pollen grain has already reached this stigma. Now the pistil is going to recognize this. So this particular pistil, what is that? So this will recognize that pollen and it is going to accept that. Alright. So now the pollen grains get attached to the stigma wall. So there is an attachment over here, that is with the pollen and the stigma wall. Now the pollen grains will start to absorb the water. So here whatever water content is being supplied by the stigma, okay, so that water content will be absorbed by the pollen, and you can see the pollen grains will absorb well and they'll basically swell up. So whenever a dead seed comes in contact with the water, so it is swelling, right? So same way pollen grains also come in contact with the water and they are going to swell up. Now the pollen grains germinate, so that is to produce a pollen tube. So you can see there is a formation of pollen tube that is occurring, okay, and contents of the pollen grain move into the tube. So pollen tube reaches the ovary. Can you hear me? Yes. One second, let me check this. Yes. Alright then. So let's see what is this. So now you know, once the pollen grain is recognized by the pistil and there is a chemical dialogue that you can see between the pollen and the pistil, that is mainly the stigma. Now the contents of the pollen grain. So you can see that basically germination is going to occur. So once the germination occurs, so this pollen tube is going to digest the tissues of the stigma and style and this starts to grow. So now you know contents of the pollen grain. So okay, this one, the pollen grain which is there. So contents of this are going to move into the tube and now the pollen tube reaches the ovary there. So here if we have to see in this diagram, so let me just draw this, or maybe I can just draw it here and explain. Okay, so there is a pollen, there is a stigma. Okay, so this is what, this one is stigma. Okay. So this one is stigma now, and this is stigma, style and ovary that you can find. So this was stigma, and yes, one second. Okay, so now here you can find there is a stigma, style and ovary. Alright, so now with respect to this, so there is a compatible pollen grain that reaches. Okay, so now depending on the compatibility, so that is belonging to the same species, but it can be anyway cross pollination can be there or self pollination. So let me just label this. So this is now stigma. Okay, and this part is stigma, this part is style, and this is ovary. So we know that once the compatible pollen grain occurs, so here is the placenta. Okay, and on to attached to the placenta you can see there is a pollen grain that is placed inside. So there is a ovule now. Okay, so this is what, this is ovule. Okay, so inside the ovary you can find the ovule, and this is the stalk of the ovule, and this stalk of the ovule, what do we call it? So this one is the funicle, and you can find this to be a chalazal end. So this side is the chalaza end, and this side is the micropylar end. So this side is what? So this is micropyle. Okay, so now inside this you can find there is a embryo sac that is present. So let's say there is a formation of embryo sac. So let me just draw a embryo sac here. So you can find this red one is basically what? So this one is the embryo sac, and inside the embryo sac you can find there is a egg. So there is a synergid, and there is the, what is this? One second, let me just erase this part. Yeah, so on the other side you can find there are antipodal cells. So these are basically the polar nuclei. So each of these cells are having their own nuclei there. So this is egg nucleus over here, since this is an egg. Okay, so now as the compatible pollen grain comes, so let's draw here one particular pollen grain which is going to germinate. So let's draw a pollen grain here. So this pollen grain is the compatible pollen grain which is going to germinate, and you can see this pollen tube will take an entry over here. So this is now the pollen tube that will take an entry over here, and now this is carrying one of the two of the male gametes, and there is a tube nucleus. So that is a tube nucleus comes in, and two of the male nuclei are going to enter. So let me just label here. Okay. So there is a tube nuclei. Okay, and there are male gametes. These two are. Okay. So now these are male gametes, and you can find a tube nuclei there. So this particular pollen grain, once it has germinated, so you can see one of the male gamete. So that male gamete is going to fuse with this, and let me just take this in green color, so that the male gamete. So one of the male gamete fuses with the egg, and there is another male gamete that is going to fuse with two of the polar nuclei. So with respect to that, now there is a fertilization that we can see. Okay, so let's see this entry of pollen tube into the ovule. So pollen capture, pollen adhesion, so hybridization, germination, penetration, the pollen tube growth. So you can see that the pollen tubes have now grown here. So there is a pollen stigma interaction. So this is stigma, and there is a transmitting tissue, and this part is the style there. Okay, so now entry of pollen tube into ovule. So this is what I explained you. So that happens by digesting the tissues. Okay, so that is by digesting the different tissues. So you can see there are a lot of changes that will occur. Okay, so now the pollen tube enters the ovule and it seeks to enters through the filiform apparatus. So there is at the beginning of the synergid, you can find a structure called as filiform apparatus. Now this filiform apparatus is going to secrete the chemical to direct the growth of pollen tube. Now the pollen tube is going to enter one of the synergid and the male gametes are released within the ovule. So let's have a look at this. So there is an embryo sac, okay, and inside this embryo sac, what do you see? So here this diagram you can see, right? So there is an embryo sac now. So this embryo sac is having antipodal cells, and you can also find there are egg cells. So this is the egg apparatus there. Okay, and there are two of the polar nuclei. Okay, so this is polar nuclei that you can find, and each one of them are having their own nuclei. So now as the pollen tube enters, so this particular pollen tube is going to enter one of the synergid as such, that is through the micropylar opening, and two male gametes which are here. So one of the male gamete will be released here, the other male gamete is going to release here. Okay, so now this fusion where you can see the egg nucleus. Okay, so there is a fusion between the egg nucleus and the male nuclei. Okay, so that is male nucleus, and these two are basically polar nuclei, you can see. So polar nuclei are fusing with one of the another male gamete. So there is a fusion that you can find between the male nucleus. So this itself we call as the double fertilization, where we call this as the fertilization. Okay, so this is a fertilization, or this can even be called as a syngamine. Okay, and the other one, so this part, what is that? So this we can call as a triple fusion. Okay, so where you can see there is a fusion between the nuclei. So now this whole process itself, we call this as the double fertilization. So what exactly is double fertilization there? So when one of the male gamete fuses with the polar nuclei and the other male gamete is gonna fuse with one of the egg nucleus. So two times the fertilization is happening, and hence we call this as the double fertilization. So let's have a look at this. So there is an embryo sac, you can find polar nuclei there, sperm nuclei there, egg cell, ovary, and the micropyle. So now let's have a look at this. The main event of sexual reproduction, so that is in plants. So this introduction is with respect to like how exactly there is a double fertilization that occurs, and that is due to characteristics of exchange. So angiosperms or the flowering plants, when we mention, so they show unique feature of double fertilization. So double fertilization was actually demonstrated in liliaceous plant, okay, that is Lilium mortagon and Fritillaria tenella. Okay, so that is in the year 1898 by Sergei Namaschin. Okay, so double fertilization involves two male gametes and two processes, because one of the male gamete fuses with the egg, and that we call as the syngamine, and one of the other male gamete fuses with the polar nuclei. So this is male nuclei here, and in this case also it is one of the other male nuclei that they fuse, and there is a triple fusion that we can mention. Okay, so double fertilization, Syngamine. So one male gamete fuses with the egg to form a diploid zygote. So that is, egg nucleus is haploid, male nucleus is haploid. So both of them fuse. So it is a diploid structure. So which is basically a zygote itself. And here the zygote is also referred to as 2N, and the process is generative fertilization. The synergy that has been penetrated by pillar tube, so they are anyway going to degenerate. Now the diploid zygote develops into an embryo. And just a second, let me just drink some water. Okay, so now with respect to double fertilization, that is triple fusion, so remaining male gamete, so there is one more male gamete that we haven't talked about. So this goes to the polar end, and this is going to fuse with two of the polar nuclei. So two of the polar nuclei are N and N, so which is basically 2N, and another male gamete is going to come and fuse. So this is going to be 3N, and hence we call this as the triple fusion. Okay, so this has three haploid nuclei forming the triploid primary endosperm nucleus. So the central cell now becomes the primary endosperm cell, forming the endosperm. The endosperm nourishes the embryo while it develops. So basically you can find, so first the endosperm develops. Okay, so first there is a development of endosperm, and then you can see there is a embryo develops. So then, so this is develops. Okay, and then there is a embryo formation that occurs, so that for the embryo development the food is supplied by the endosperm, because the endosperm does a function of nourishment, and that's the reason you can see that the endosperm is formed first, which nourishes the embryo while it develops, and that's how you can conclude that the endosperm is developing first. Okay, so summary, so double fertilization is seen in angiosperms, that is as two male gametes fuse at the two ends of the ovary. The fusion of one male gamete with the egg, that we call as a Syngamine or the fertilization. The fusion of the other male gamete with the polar nuclei, so that we call as the triple fusion. So this diploid zygote develops into an embryo, and later it is forming a seed there. Okay, then there is a primary endosperm cell that develops from triple fusion, so that is forming the endosperm around the embryo. So endosperm development precedes embryonic development. Is this clear? Okay, so this endosperm development precedes embryonic development. So let's have a look at some of the question. So fertilization is fusion of male gamete and female gamete. So this is true or false. So this one you can see there is a male gamete that is fusing with a female gamete. So it is true. And the product of fertilization is what? So it is the zygote, because so once the male gamete and the female gamete fuse, so this is the egg, so this is the egg nucleus, so the male nucleus comes, so this itself we call as the zygote. So now we cannot call this anymore as an egg, because there is a male nuclei also that is introduced, and hence so this one is zygote, so not an egg anymore. Okay, Alright, so before I end this session, so let me just say about certain batches that we have. Any of you are having any doubts in this? Any doubts that you have, you can ask. So I'll run through this, so you can just have a look at this. So there is a pole and pistil interaction that occurs. Okay, so first the recognition, there is an interaction that is going to occur. Then based on the interaction, again you can find there are certain events that are occurring after the fertilization and after the pollination. So now this event is after the pollination is done. So what exactly are the changes that are going to occur, and based on that, so you can find there is a stigma style, there is tube, nuclei, ovule. So now all these are anyway there. So there is fusion that can occur. So this was the fusion that we are talking about. So one of the male gamete fuses with the egg and the other male gamete fuses with the polar nuclei, and hence the respective names are given like fertilization or Syngamine and the triple fusion. And other than that, alright, so now and based on that the ploidy of each of these are known, and this is the summary. So any doubts that you have, you can ask, and you can also join my Telegram channel and can clear your doubts. So in the very beginning of this session I have said about my Telegram link, so you can just search Vani Kari ICSE class 9 and 10 biology, that is on Telegram, and you can join my channel. Any doubt that you have, you can ask me there. Alright, so before I end this session, so let me just say about the batch that we have. So this is a Guardians batch. Right now we'll be carrying out the revision for all subjects. So where the mode of delivery here is English, that is for term 1. So ICSE class 9, the start date is 4th of August. Okay. So the mode of delivery here is English. So you can see maths, physics, chemistry and bio will be covered. So you can subscribe for ICSE class 9 and you can get class 10, class 11 and class 12 subscription absolutely free along with class 9. So for that you can go ahead with 12 months of subscription, and right now we have this offer where if you are subscribing for 12 months, extra 3 months that you are getting. So for 12 months the current price is 19,838 and the total value is basically 23,971. But what exactly are you paying? So you are just paying 15,870 where you are saving up to 8,101, so which is basically 34%. But if you are going for 24 months of subscription, so you will be saving more as well. So if you are planning to take this subscription, so this is the best time that you can go ahead with subscription and can use my code VANIYT. So this is my code where you can get discount on the subscription with this code, and don't forget to mention the code there, because only with this code so you are having this particular offer. Okay, so the code is VANIYT, so don't forget to mention this code while you are taking the subscription. So any queries that you have, so you can go ahead, you can call this number for more details. All right, and also we have a community, so introducing community where all the updates regarding the classes can be shared. Okay, so never miss on any update from your favorite educator. Get session notes and practice material there. All right, share your feedback directly with the educators, that is via poll. And also there is a Bucks Bounty, so this is opportunity for all learners to report any inappropriate content in the video. So be the first one to report a particular issue to claim your prize. Report any inappropriate content using the form in the description. Okay, so you have this option. So you can visit the description. There you will find the Bucks Bounty link, community link, some of the special classes link, and also an Academy channel link. So you can click on the respective links for the following. Okay, and so thank you all. See you all in the next session. So before that, you can subscribe to our channel, that is Unacademy ICSE and ISC boards. Click on bell icon to get notified about these sessions. Like and share the video, so that is with your friends, and also you can download the Unacademy Learners app now. So just log in your enter your details and you can register. Or basically all you have to do is you just have to put up which class and which language that you prefer to learn in, and you are set. So you can start taking free classes first, which are called as special classes. Okay, so start taking up special classes, and then if you are comfortable, so because here in special classes only a certain percentage of topics will be covered, but if you are going for plus subscription, so there is 100% syllabus coverage that can be done, so you can go ahead with this one. Okay, so see you all in the next session. Bye bye everyone, take care.